அதுக்கு முன்னுக்கு பின்னுக்கு கொஞ்சம் அந்த வார்த்தை உனக்கு நாங்க நேரம் Good afternoon. What happened to your students? Is it so? From the morning onwards? Yes. But from the morning onwards, yes. Another assignment submission today. There you have the presentation. You have the presentation. So then can you all come here? Then we can put it. Come here. So that we can. Yes, last please come here. So then you have to go with here and there, so then I can stay here and conduct the discussion. I'm not going to ask questions this time. You can have me. I'm not going to ask questions. I can't see your faces. That's right. You can face for the exam without participating for the exam. Please. If you have any presentations to do, group presentations, what is the subject?
Audit and HR.
Audit and HR. Group presentations.
Yes.
This week and next week. We need it to be there, otherwise audit and presentations. These are 11 features, 12. Yes, but yes, come here. I'm not going to ask a question. Are there any boys? All right. Okay. So we'll go to the last week lectures by was cancelled. Last week Saturday lectures cancelled. No? Therefore, we wish 2 weeks. Am I correct? 27, that's the machine, and then the last week also you miss the last week. Right? Okay, to that. So then this is the 11th week, we have 4 weeks. In the 4 weeks, we are supposed to conduct the working capital management lecture. That's the base tests and then dividend policy and then capital staff decisions. We need another 3 weeks to go with the research, the content coverage, or then 14th week. The last week we can do the practice. So I just sent out to the 11th session, today's 11th session. Most probably our semester will end with the 31st August. 36 minutes.
31st August exam start.
So then sometime it will be given the other lectures, first of all, the other lectures.
Finish, MIS finish, business communication. Come on, finish. Let's do that first.
And the audit also 12 session. So we say have 3 lectures now. For my sessions also I've conducted 12 sessions. So therefore I have another 4 weeks.
But we asked the management. Because she told us the exam will be on 31st of August.
Yes, exam will be on the 31st, so then you will be given a 2 slot for the business finance subject in the coming weeks. We have this is the days 9 to 9 means we 31st. 31st August, you are starting the exams.
The next week only we have lectures.
Next week only you have the lectures.
And 24th, 23rd and 4th study leave and third place exam semester.
The next week I will last 2 sessions or 3 sessions. Anyway, I will conduct the working capital management session today and finish it. So then we have only 2 sessions. The capital structure decision and then the dividend decision.
Like FR is finished already.
It can't finish.
FR finished.
Presentation also done.
Yeah, all are done today.
What is the session? The
Coming Saturday, your
Sometime
business
we-
finance only.
coming Saturday business finance only.
I don't know.
Open presentations.
All are
Presentations. Today, tomorrow you have the HR presentations and then the audit presentations and then that's done. For the audit also you have the next Sunday you might have another session for the audit. Right, another 2 or 3. There might be 3 according to this is 2. Then anyway I will request, I have lectures from the morning onwards. Anyway I will request you to conduct give the 3 sessions of tomorrow at least 1 session. That means tomorrow, the next week was the last week. You don't have any presentation evaluation and so on. I don't know. Most of your lecture, the video recordings have been uploaded to the LMS. I go through those.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, we'll manage if the time. I have not given the additional time period to conduct the remaining lecture. I will discuss the model paper with you. So then that is enough. So we'll manage the time and we'll do the model paper. So that will be easy for you. That will be guided for your exam math. Okay. We'll make the heading working capital management. Working capital management. So what we'll be discussing about in this session, concept of working capital management and then the gross working capital and net working capital, and then how you can identify the working capital requirement for a company, and then what are the factors determining the working capital management policies, and what factors are affecting for the determine the working capital management policies, and then what are the financing the policies within line with the working capital management. So what do you mean by a working capital? So we identify the investment decision, right? So investment decision focus on which one? Focused on the non-current assets, right? Investment decision identify the non-current assets, right? How much of assets do we need to identify? Is this asset? Do we need to identify on its purchase and so on? So when we are going through our balance sheet, there are how many components? There are basic 3 components included in the financial position statement. What those three elements are? Assets, liabilities, and then the other one, equity. Right? Equity structure or else debt structure will be determined under the capital structure decision. Right? Capital structure decision. How much of debt that we are going to acquire and then how much of equity that we are going to acquire. So all these things will be identified under the capital structure decision. Right? When we are focusing about the non-current assets or fixed asset, that will be identified through the investment decision. Right? It will be discussed with the investment decision. Or else capital structure, not capital structure decision, capital budgeting decision. Right? Now remaining items are current assets and then the non-current assets. Current assets as well as the current liabilities. Because why? Non-current liabilities and the equity identified by the capital structure decision and then non-current assets identified by the investment decision. Remaining components are current assets and then the current liabilities. Right? Working capital management policies or working capital identify the handling of these current assets part as well as the current liabilities. Right? When the companies they need to concern about these current assets and current liabilities. What are the sub items coming under the current assets? What are the sub items coming under the current assets? Inventory and then debtors, prepaid expenses, cash in hand, all these are coming under the current assets. Current liabilities, creditors, and then suppliers, bank, short-term bank loan, short-term obligations, accruals, and then short-term lease liability, and then OD. All these are coming under the current liabilities versus current assets. When a company running their operations, do we need to concern about the current assets versus current liabilities? Yes, exactly. They need to concern about. Why? Why do the companies need to concern about current assets and the current liabilities? Current assets and current liabilities also helping for what? Helping for the cash recovery, isn't it? Plus business operation day to day to maintain the business daily operations effectively and efficiently. For example, we compare the last year, if this year inventory is high, what would be your conclusion? If compared the last year, this year inventory is now high, closing inventory. Now what is your decision? What would be the conclusion on that one? You might not have that much of sales. That's why your inventory is something high. We compared to the last year, this year debtor balance is also high. What will be your decision? Yes, exactly. You are unable to collect the cash from the debtors in timely. It compared to the last year, this year suppliers are very low. You have paid the suppliers payment in a quick manner. Right? If these 3 components are what these 3 components are highlighted about the company's business day-to-day operations. Right? So companies need funds. The method of increasing the internal liquidity, internal fund sources is tightening the working capital. Right? To run the business, what they need? They need cash. Right? By tightening working capital requirements, working capital items, what the company can do is they can increase their cash flows. How? They can ask the debtors to pay their money quickly. By giving the discount, we claim the money from them. Right? Plus, if you need funds, what you can do? You can delay the supplier's payment. So therefore, when a company running their business operations, look into these current assets and current liabilities really critical thing, right? So therefore, it's coming under the topic of working capital management. The finance manager need to manage these working capital requirements or the current assets and current liabilities. If company is increasing their working capital management policies involving balancing the profitability as well as the liquidity. Are you agree with this? Working capital management, right? Always trying to balance always trying to maintain the link between the profitability and liquidity. They have to make it trade-off, otherwise working capital policies are not efficient. What do you mean by profitability? Profitability. Profit. Right? Profitability means profit. If the profitability of the company is high, sometimes liquidity might be low. Are you agree with that? Yes or no? If the company profitability is high, liquidity might be low. How? Yes. Company profitability is very high. Profitability is high means they don't have the inventory levels. Right? Always their inventory is converted to the sales. So therefore, sometimes their liquidity might be very low. Right? Meanwhile, if the profitability is low, liquidity might be high. Why? Profitability low means they don't have the enough sales. They don't have the enough sales mean their current otherwise it might be impacting for the exams as well. ඒකද මේ ඔයාලා ඉන්නේ ඒක මොකක්ද කියලා මම කවුරුත් එහෙම ඔයාලා
Practice කරන්නේ.
practice
අපි time balance ඔක්කොම
බලමු කරලා
ස්වාමීන් වහන්සේ කවදාවත් ඒක
Okay. Next week in presentations then.
සයිඩ් එක්සෑම් කවදාවත්
Exactly. 17th August වෙනකොට නවත්තන්න කියලා. Less than 17th August නවත්තන්න කියලා. 17th කියලා next week. Next week presentation වලට මොනවද තියෙනවද? මගේ subject එක විතරයි තියෙන්නේ. It's in the right double source again. Paper එකක් කරන් type එකට තිබුණා පුෂ්ප දෙකක් class notes දෙක පුත් එක paper එකක් කරන් තිබුණා හරියටම. ඉතින් බයරස් දෙයක් ඒ මොන paper discuss කරන්න තමයි අපරේ. They got to get locked in a minute. Even think I get locked. මේක මෙහෙම තිබුණොත් එහෙම ඊට පස්සේ එක්සෑම් එකක් අටෙන්ඩ් කරන්න නැතුව යනවා. ඒ ගැටුවක් වෙන්න මම මෙයාට දෙන්න පුළුවන් මටත් දෙන්න. අයියෝ දෙන්න මට ගැටුවක් ඔක්කොමත් දෙන්න. ඒ නිසා. Next one. Yep. Anyway, from this session, definitely you might have a question, right? For the working capital management. Always we are having the one question from the working capital management. 18 marks question is there, right? Right. Okay. Yes, we have to maintain the trade-off between the profitability and leverage when we are talking about this working capital management. So therefore, if the profitability is high, means the liquidity might be low. If the liquid might be high, profitability low. So therefore, the CFO always they should maintain the proper balance between the liquidity and profitability when he is conducting engagement with efficiently managing the working capital management requirements. Right. So we have two concepts of the working capital, net working capital and then the other one, what is it? Gross working capital, right? Gross working capital means if you are identifying the optimization of current assets, we call it as a gross working capital, right? Gross working capital means only focusing about the current assets. Concerning about the current assets of the organization or else optimization the investment of current assets, we call it as a gross working capital, right? Gross working capital. So what are the examples for the current assets? Inventories, debtors, and then prepayments, cash in bank, cash in hand, short-term obligation, short-term investment. All these are coming under the current assets, right? So when we are focusing about the current assets, we just, as the finance manager, they just identify what are the current assets available to for which one? Available to fulfill our current obligation. That is what they are seeking in the gross working capital, right? But when we are referring to net working capital, what do you mean by the net working capital? Current assets minus current liabilities. Or the difference between current assets and current liabilities is identified under the net working capital. Net working capital, right? Liquidity position of the company is definitely highlighted by the current net working capital management, right? Why? How you can claim that net working capital identify the liquidity position? How you can identify? How you can argue that or argue on that part? Net working capital refers to the liquidity position of the organization. How you can argue on that part? Yes. Net working capital, that means difference between current assets and the current liabilities show us the liquidity position of the company. How? Current assets means the things we have, right? Current liabilities means the short-term obligations you need to fulfill. If you remove the short-term obligation from the current assets you have, the remaining thing is showing us what? The liquidity position, right? Once after you settle all the current liabilities from the current assets, the remaining thing is the what? That is the cash, or else that is the current assets you have at the moment. By using those things, what you can do? You can settle the long-term liabilities as well if you have. So therefore, the net working capital, it request or else it highlighted the liquidity position of the firm. Liquidity position of the firm. Is that clear? Net working capital and then the gross working capital. Okay, write it down. There are two concepts. There are two concepts. There are two concepts in working capital management. There are two concepts in working capital. There are two concepts in working capital. First one, gross working capital. First one, gross working capital. Gross working capital. Within brackets, write it down. It identifies optimization of investment in investments in current assets. Current assets. Second one, net working capital. Net working capital. Within brackets, it is the difference between, within brackets, it is the difference between current assets and current liabilities. Current assets and then the current liabilities. Okay. Operating cycle. The next term that we need to identify the operating cycle. That means functions in this manufacturing process, right? Functions in the manufacturing process. We have three the functions. Acquisition of resources and then manufacturing of the products and then the sale of the product, right? What are the main three items in manufacturing process? We acquire the resources. We convert these resources into the finished good. That means manufacturing process. Once you manufacture the process, what is the next step? Sale of these assets, sale of these inventories, right? In line with these three activities, we can build up the operating cycle of the business with the purchases to the collection, right? Purchases to the collection, right? What we purchase? We purchase raw materials. We purchase raw materials, right? Once we purchase the raw material, it might be cash or credit. Cash or credit. If you purchase the raw materials on credit, you created a creditor. You created the creditor, right? If you purchase this material on the cash, that's done. No any further transaction regarding that purchase. But if you already purchased these items on credit, definitely you create a creditor, right? Okay. Purchase material then converted to the, you acquire the material or else you did the purchase and then you purchase the raw material, right? This raw material converted to the work in progress. Raw material acquired raw materials needed to be converted for the work in progress. Raw material to the work in progress. We call that period as the raw material conversion period. Right? Raw material conversion period. So then now we have the work in progress. Work in progress needed to be converted for the finished good. We identified that time period as the work in progress conversion period. Right? Work in progress conversion period. Now we have the finished good. Finished good needed to be converted to the sales. Right? Finished good needed to be converted for the sales. That time period is called as the finished good conversion period. Finished good conversion period. So therefore, when we are converting the purchase to the credit sales, we have three stages. But those three stages are the acquired raw material needed to convert it to the work in progress converted to the finished good converted to the sales. Therefore, these are the three stages. Three stages. Right? Okay. Now purchase already converted to the sales. Right? This sales might be sometime credit sales or the cash sales. If it is again cash sales, that's done, no any further transaction. But the thing is, if we are starting the credit sales, now the question is, the hours continuation is there. If you started the credit sales, you are going to create the how to create කරන්න. That විකුණුම් ආරම්භ වෙනවත් සමගම අපිට ඇති වෙනවා කවුද? We created the data, right? We created the data. We create the data, right? Now once we created the data, definitely we give normally 2 months or 3 months, 1 month, 2 months or 3 months period for the collection, right? So now we can identify at the end of the third month. At the end of the third month, we will be able to collect the cash from the debtors, right? We will be able to collect the cash from debtors. So then, entire period from purchase to the cash collection, we call it as a what? What is it? What is this entire period? We call it as a gross operating cycle, right? Gross operating cycle. Within this gross operating cycle, there are two conversion periods, right? What are those two conversion periods? First one, inventory conversion period we have, right? The acquired purchase is going to convert it for the sales. Once after you identify the sales, we have a receivable conversion period. From the sales to the collection, we have the receivable conversion period. මේ gross operating cycle එක ඇතුළේ තියෙනවා cycles දෙකක්. මේ මොනවාද cycles දෙක? එකක් තමයි acquire කරගත්තේවා sales දක්වා convert වෙන එක. sales වල ඉඳලා cash collected වෙන period එකක්. එතකොට gross operating cycle include two cycles. The first one, inventory conversion period. The other one, what is it? Debtor collection period, right? So this is called as the gross operating cycle. Gross operating cycle. If you remove the gross from the gross operating cycle, if you remove the payable, or else just give me the answer. Can you wait until the data collection period to settle your creditors? Can you wait until the data collection period to settle your creditors? No, you can't. Okay. Normally for the debtors, we are giving the 2 or 3 months, but for the suppliers, they will give us the 1 or 2 months. right? So therefore, before the data collection, you have to settle the payable balance. So therefore, we identify from the purchase the day we created the creditor till the make the payment for this creditor. We call it as a payable period or else creditor deferral period, right? Or else we can name it as a creditor payment period. The time period that we are taking to settle our creditor, right? What is it? Creditor settlement period or else creditor deferral period, right? From the gross operating cycle, if you deduct this payable or else creditor deferral period, it gives us the cash operating cycle, which is called as the cash conversion cycle. Cash conversion cycle. Right, okay, write it down. Operating cycle. Operating cycle includes first one inventory conversion period. Inventory conversion period. Second one, debtor collection period. Debtor collection period. Inventory conversion period plus debtor collection period. Below the second line, write it down. Therefore, operating cycle equals ICP, inventory conversion period, ICP plus DCP, debtor collection period. ICP plus DCP, debtor collection period. Now write it down. Next one. Net operating cycle equals. Net operating cycle equals. Gross operating cycle minus creditor deferral period. Creditor deferral period. Within brackets, creditor settlement period. Now, below the net operating cycle, within brackets, write it down. That's the cash conversion cycle. Similar name, cash conversion cycle. Net operating cycle equals cash conversion cycle. Now tell me how you can calculate the inventory conversion period. Inventory conversion period. Write it down. Inventory conversion period equals. Inventory conversion period equals. Inventory conversion period equals. RMCP. Raw material conversion period. RMCP. Raw material conversion period. RMCP. Plus WIP CP. Work in capital. Work in progress conversion period. Sorry. Work in progress conversion period. WICP. WIPC. Yeah. Work in progress conversion period. Third category, that is FGCP. FGCP. Finished good conversion period. Finished good conversion period. Okay. So this is what we have already written down. Huh? Plus operating cycle equals ICP, that means inventory conversion period, plus ECP, and then inventory conversion period plus IMCP, VIPCP, and finished good conversion period. This is what we have already written down. Okay. Now, how you can identify the raw material conversion and then work in progress and then the other one, finished good conversion periods. Right? What do you mean by the raw material conversion period? Raw material conversion period. Raw material conversion period means the time period that we take to convert our raw material to the finished good. Right? Finished good. So therefore, we identify raw material inventory. We have been given the raw material inventory. It should be divided by the daily raw material consumption. So then you can identify the time period that you are taking to convert this raw material to the work in progress. Right? And then work in progress conversion period, how you can identify the work in progress?
Raw materials.
Now we have the work in progress inventory. Right? Work in progress conversion means work in progress needed to be converted for the finished good. We have given the work in progress inventory divided by daily cost of production. Right? Daily cost of production. Cost of production divided by 360, or it might be 365. No issues. Right. So finished good conversion. Finished good means we have finished good. It needed to be converted for the sales. Yeah, how to convert karanu? Sales were to convert karanu. How we can identify? We have the finished good inventory divided by daily cost of goods sold. Right? Cost of goods sold mean identify the opening and closing inventory and all the things. Okay, write down this three. Hope you all have identified our restriction. Boys, that progress, work in progress. Okay, right. Now, this is the way of identifying debtors as well as creditors deferral period. Right? How many days? What do you mean by the receivables or the debtor conversion period? Average time. Right? Average time period that we are going to have to convert the debtors into cash. Right? How many days that we are going to have to convert our debtors into cash? How many days we are going to collect the cash from the debtors? That's it. Right? How we can identify the debtor conversion period? To identify the debtor conversion period, what you should have? You should have a debtor balance. Right? Debtor balance should be divided by the credit sales and then multiplied by the divided by 360 or 365. That means daily debtor, daily credit sale balances. Right? And then again, same as the debtor collection period, credit settlement period or creditors deferral period. To identify the average time period that we are going to take to payment for our suppliers, we should have a creditor balance. Right? Creditor balance should be divided by daily credit purchase or credit purchase divided by 360 or 365 will give us the creditor deferral period. How many days average we are going to have to settle our payments, and then how many days that we are going to have to collect the cash from our debtors. Deferral period for the creditors as well as the collection period from the debtors. Right? Okay, write down these two as well. Awesome. Yeah. Have you calculated these ratios in other subjects?
Yes.
What is subject? Financial reporting. Have you calculated? You have ratio analysis this semester? So then it is easy, no? Yes. Okay. Tell me, if you have given, okay, listen now. If you have given the credit conversion period, average we are taking 30 days, right? To collect the, to pay, make the payment for the suppliers. And then credit purchase is 360. Can you identify the credit balance? How much is it? This is 1000 multiplied by 30 means it is 30,000. Right? Is this clear? Is this clear? Again. Now, you have given the CDP hours, right? Third day. You take 30 days to settle your creditors, right? And then you have been given, okay, your credit purchase is 360 days. 360,000. So then, tell me the creditor balance. Creditor balance, then. Creditor balance. Now you can capture the creditor balance. 360 divided by 360 means it is 1000. 1000 multiplied by 30, that means 30 multiplied by 1000 is 30,000. Your creditor balance is 30,000. Is that clear? Good. That. The other one. Creditor balance is 60,000. And then credit purchase again 720,000. Tell me the credit deferral period. Credit deferral period 60,000 divided by 2,000. How much is it? How many days? 30 days, right? 30 days. Is this clear? This is the direct forward method. The previous one, indirectly we are having the creditor balance. The other one. Daily credit purchase. Daily credit purchase 6,000. And then deferral period 150 days. Can you identify the creditor balance? Daily credit purchase 6,000 and then see credit deferral period will take the 15 days. Can we identify the creditor balance? Yes, how you can 15 multiplied by 6,000. Right? So these are the sum of ratios that you have already calculated in your ratio analysis subject 2. What is the importance of calculating these formulas to our context? We need to have the overall picture of the payment dates, plus we need to have a picture of the current assets and current liabilities as well. Can we capture the current assets here? Current assets and current liabilities? Yes, obviously. Why? Credit means which balance? CL balance. Right? Debtor means current asset balance. If I ask you to calculate the net working capital. Net working capital. Now you need the help of which ratio? To credit deferral period to calculate the current liabilities. Plus, you need to have a help of creditor payment, debtor collection period to calculate the current asset, right? So therefore, the same techniques that you have identified in the ratio analysis subject also needed here. Why? To go with the current working capital requirements. Already this one also we have already discussed. Right. Now we have the question number 1. Go to the question number 1. Now read the question number 1. Question number 1. This is what? This is a selling price or the per unit details regarding a product. Right? Regarding a one product per unit details. What is this? Read this one. If you normally starting with the finance subject questions, you are answering for the finance subject question, you have to start always with the, just read the question and go to the description there. Right? Then ප්‍රශ්නයක් ඔයාලගේ exam එකේ දීලා තියෙනවා formula answers ලියන්න දැන්. ඔයාලා දැන් second year ඉඳන් කම්බේ පොඩි case studies නේ. ඉස්සෙල්ලා කියන define කරන්න working capital management define කරන්න කියලා එන්නේ. අපි indirectly අහන්න. දැන් ඔයාලා ටික second year එතකොට දැන් ඔයාලා පක්ඛරිම ප්‍රශ්නයක් මම හිතුවා. finance subject ගන්න මෙන්න paper එකක් මෙහෙම තමයි. එතකොට ඔයාලා ප්‍රශ්නයක් දීලා තියෙනවා නම් පොඩි case study එකක් එක්ක ඔයාලා කොහොමද case study එක කියවලා ප්‍රශ්න කියවනවද නැත්නම් ප්‍රශ්න කියවලද case study එක කියවන්නේ? ඉස්සෙල්ලාම approach එක මොකද? ප්‍රශ්න කියවලා තමයි case study එක කියවන්නේ. ප්‍රශ්න ගැන අවබෝධයකින් තමයි ඔයාලා case study එක කියවන්නේ. Right now. Read the question. What do you need to calculate? Working capital requirement for the 50,000 unit capacity and then calculate the length of operating cycle and the cash conversion cycle. Even this is a small question, it covers the entire working capital adjustments. Right? Now what it identifies, you need to calculate the working capital requirement for the how many units? 50,000 units. Working capital කොච්චර ඕනද කියලා යහන්න. Plus, if you are manufacturing 50,000, how many days you have to take as an operating cycle as well as how many days you have to take it as a cash conversion cycle. Now read the question. With the per unit details, you have been given the following information too. Average raw material stock and finished goods should be 1 month. මේ මොකක්ද කියන්නේ? Average raw material stock and finished good. Raw material plus finished good we keep for how many months? Only 1 month. Right? Okay. And then work in progress. How many days? Half of a month. Work in progress තියාගන්නේ මාස භාගයයි. That means 15 days. 15 days. Creditors period to the suppliers is 1 month. To settle the suppliers, how many days we are taking? Only 1 month, that means 30 days. අනිවාර්යෙන් suppliers වලට ගෙවලා ඉවර කරනවා කීයකින්ද? දවස් 30කින් ඉවර කරන්න ඕන. Right? Plus 50% of the direct raw material were the credit base. අනිත් ඔක්කොම මොනවද එහෙනම්? Cash. ණයට ගන්න මොනවද අපි? මොනවද අපි ණයට ගන්නෙ? Direct raw materials, but not only the entire direct raw materials, 50% of the raw material. raw material ගන්න 50කට ගන්න raw material වලින් භාගයක් විතරයි මොනවද ගන්නෙ? ණයට ගන්න. ඒ හැරෙන්න අපිට ණය ගෙතිය සමහරවිට තියෙන්න පුළුවන් නැති වෙන්නත් පුළුවන්. Debtors period is 2 months. Debtors සල්ලි දෙන්න කොච්චර කාලයක් වෙනවද? 60 days or 2 months. Time lag payment of direct wages and direct other is 1.5 weeks. තවත් එහෙනම් ගෙවන්න කෙනෙක් ඉන්නවා. කවුද? Direct wages and direct other. We have a 1.5 weeks. And then the other one, overhead also paying on the month in the accrued basis. Cash balance is 10,000 and then 1/4 of the sales is on cash basis. So then how many credit sales? 75% of sales are cash or credit base. Credit base. හතරෙන් එකක් cash කියලා කියන්නේ හතරෙන් තුනක් credit. credit sales තමයි. එහෙනම් ණය ගැටිය ඇති වෙන්නේ හතරෙන් තුනකට ණය හිම ඇති වෙන්නේ 50%. 50%. Okay. Try to do it. What you need is working capital requirement. Right? Net working capital requirement. Working capital means current assets minus current liabilities. You have given the calculated periods. You need to identify the creditors, debtor balance, and so on. That means අපි කලින් හදපු ගානේ අනිත් පැත්තයි බලන්නේ. Right. Okay. Try to do it. Discuss with your friends and try to do it. You can discuss with your friends regarding the question. Orange color t-shirt.
Good name, no?
Muslim like name of basic mistake එක දවසක්. බලන්න කොච්චර හොඳ ළමයි කියලා. කවුරුත් දැන් ප්ලේ කරපුවා? ඒගොල්ලෝ පෙන්කනේ දැන් මේ පාස් මෙයා ලැබෙච්ච එක ෂෙරෝන් ලැබෙච්ච එක නේද? අපි තමයි ෂෙරෝන් ලැබෙච්ච එක කියන්නේ ඒගොල්ලෝ එක I will simplify the question. Now this is the question, right? Are drawing with me? Right. What do we need? We need to calculate the working capital requirement. Working What do you need? You need to calculate the working capital requirement, right? Working capital requirement means current assets minus current liabilities, right? That means you have to identify the debtor balance. Do we have a debtor balance given? No. Do we have given the debtor balance? No, we don't. So therefore, you have to identify the debtor balance. Do we have given the creditor balance? Do we have given the creditor balance? Yes or no? No, we don't. Right? Cash balance. Cash balance. Do we given the cash balance? Before the question and tell me, are we given the cash balance?
No.
Yes, we given.
Yes.
How much is it? It's 10,000.
Pardon.
Then inventories. 3 type of inventories. Are we given the 3 type of inventories? Finished good, work in progress, and then in the raw materials. Are we given those things? No, but instead of that one, we have been given the RHCP, WYCP, and then the FGCP. Conversion periods given. Right? Conversion period given, but we didn't given the items, the current assets and current liabilities. It's like this. In this question, in this formula, we have given this one, we have given this one. You need to find which one? Creditor balance. Right? In that question, you have given the TCP, time period given, credit sales given, but you didn't given the creditor balance, debtor balance. Right? In these 3 formulas, RMCP, WYCP, FGCP given. And then with the raw material the consumption, cost of production, cost of goods sold, but you need to given these financial position items. Then the reciprocal side of these formulas. So these are the days. 2 months, that means 60 days. 1 month, what is it? 30 days.
Half month.
Half month, that means 15 days. Okay, right. Now try to do it. You can start the RMC, start with the additional information 1. That's regarding the finished good and the raw material inventory, that is 1 month period. Read the additional information 1 and go with the formula. The capacity is 50,000. You have given the what material requirement. එකකට ඕන දේවල් දීලා තියෙනවා 50ක් හදන්න ඕනි කියලා කියනවා.
Slightly average you got it. Slightly cheap party of too much of things like that you got it out. Progress and
So you are calculate creditors and debtor balance.
As it is not correct,
White is calling. Yeah, why? Kita very good. The way he has the construction Okay, first one for you. Average, we start with actual information. Right? Average raw material stock and finished goods should be 1 month. Right? Average raw material stock and finished goods should be 1 month. Raw material conversion period. Raw material conversion period. RM equals. How you can identify the raw material conversion period? Raw material inventory divided by raw material consumption divided by 360. Raw material conversion period. How much is it? Conversion period? How many days? 1 month period. That means 30 days. Like, do we have given the raw material inventory? No, we don't. So therefore, RMI. We don't know it. Do we know the raw material consumption can be calculated? Yes. How many items that we are going to produce? 50,000. 50,000 units. For one unit, how many raw materials do you need? For a one raw material, sorry, for a one unit, we need 32 rupees raw material. Isn't it? How many units that we are going to produce? 50,000. The capacity is 50. For a one unit, per unit, how much is it? We need 32. We need 32. So therefore multiplied by 32. Then divided by, yes, base here 360 of, we'll take it as a 365 days. 365 days. Divided by 365 days. Have you taken 360? Take 365. What is the raw material inventory?
4,000.
400.
4,383.
4,300,000. Raw material
Consumption.
inventory. Raw material inventory. How much is it?
Inventory or consumption?
I mean inventory.
Let's get the
How much is it? 181 or 31,000? 31, eh? 131,490.
560.
One hundred 31,000.
506.
506.
0.8493.
9.9. 0.8. That means you can round it up into the 131,507. This is what? This is what? This is the current asset. Current asset. You can take here raw material inventory, RM inventory. 131,507. Right? Now, raw material is not done. Finished good. Finished good also 1 month period. Finished good also 1 month period. How you can calculate the finished good inventory now? Finished good inventory. Sir, how you can calculate the finished good inventory? Finished good inventory. Finished good inventory equals conversion period equals inventory divided by the cost of goods sold divided by 360. Cost of goods sold. Now tell me, cost of goods sold, how you can calculate the cost of goods sold? Yes?
Selling price is 2.
Since we didn't given the opening and closing inventory details, you can directly take the selling price, right? Selling price. Conversion period, how many days?
30 days.
30 days. Inventory we don't know. Cost of sales. Selling price per unit.
130.
130. Multiplied by 50,000 units divided by 365. Can we the finished good inventory? Oh, selling price, cost of sales. Cost of sales after opening, closing inventory and then cost of sales will have been selling price.
5 lakh 34,000.
How much is the finished good inventory? 500.
46.
46. Finished good inventory. 5, 3, 4, 2, 46. Next detail. Average raw material. Raw material half of a month. That means 15 days, right? That means work in progress. Work in progress, WYC, WYP, conversion period. Work in progress inventory divided by cost of production. Cost of production by 365. Here it has not been specially mentioned, so therefore we'll take the total cost. Cost of production. We take the factory cost, we take the factory cost of production. We take the cost of production, factory cost. Factory cost is 100.5. How many days? 15 days. Work in progress inventory 100.5 multiplied by 50,000 divided by 365. What is the work in progress inventory? 200. So here please take it. Work in progress inventory, WIP inventory. How much is it? 200. 200. 200. 11. 260. 265,000. 265,000 including our balance.
206,560.
Yes. 206,000. Let us. 206,000 less. 506. Okay, here we'll adjust it. Finished good inventory will take here cost of sales. Not 130. We'll take the 110.5. Right? 110.5. Adjust the figure and tell me. Otherwise, if we take the selling price, that might be low.
Now, also can let it be.
Attend to the balance here. Yeah, higher multiple 450, 4,000, 109. $454,109. Okay, that part done. So then we have the creditor period, right? Creditor suppliers is 1 month period. But how you can identify the credit suppliers? 50% on the direct material. Right? Okay, can you mention that I need further working capital requirements? Company can data it was 60 here, 60 and 65. 65 or 60 okay. No issues. No. Some organizations they take it as 65, some organizations they take it as 60. Better take 365. Normally they will be given, the question will be given what kind of days that they are having for their operating cycle. In a weekend students note a place. Or sometime we find
the credit sales or some
මේවා අනිත් ලේසි දැන් ඔයාලගේ මේ ෆයිනෑන්ෂල් රිපෝටින් වලට කපලාන තියෙන්නේ. Financial reporting වල වල මොනවද කරිය ratios that the research reference period returns people divided by credit reference period how many months? 1 month. That means 30 days. Right? We purchase only direct materials on the credit basis, but 50% direct material, how much is it? Notes out. Otherwise, I can't continue. 32. Right? We don't know the creditors balance. Credit purchase bill 32. Multiplied by 50,000. Divided by. So that is the 50%. Again, it should be divided by 365. Tell me the credit balance. 60. 5,000. 750. So then creditor balance 65,753. Now the debtor period is 1 month period. For the debtors, 1 month. Hassan, debtors, calculate debtor balance and tell me. 2 months, yes. Calculate the debtor balance and tell me. To calculate the debtor balance, what we need? We need this information as well. Right? 1/4 is cash. That means 75% is credit. Right? 75% is credit. Asset, calculate and tell me.
Other selling price are
I'm meeting
Is this correct?
Yes.
This is selling price. How many units that we are going to produce? 50,000. This 50,000 is not entirely sales value, credit sales value. 75% on it is a credit value. Right? Credit value. So therefore, it should be divided by 365 days. What is the balance status?
It's a good yes.
800
800,
1,000.
800, 1,000.
369. 0.86.
That means 800, 1,370. Debtor balance. Right here, take the debtors. Current assets. 800, 1,000. 300. 7. Okay.
That was already. That was already. That's
I don't have the space right now. Okay. That. Direct wages and direct other 1.5 weeks. I calculate the direct wages and other payment accrued balance. Quickly tell me. Same as the creditors. Same as the creditors. Direct wages and direct other. Identify the requirement for the 50,000 and then dates were given to us. Now it's weeks. 1.5 weeks if it is so. How many total weeks for a year? Hassan, how many weeks for a year? 52 weeks. Then the basic weeks. Not 365 days. It should be 52 weeks. Quickly calculate the overhead and the direct wages and other. Quickly do it. These are the accrued payments. Then I will ask you to do it on board. Uffala or Uffala? Okay. Yeah, okay.
Exam paper na bagay nila. Kaya kita na exam paper na bagay nila. Exam mo do section kodela na. I went through your videos. Initial round beta. Yes. Only one group visited to the industry, right? Your group, right? Amy, you went to the industry, no? Only your group, right? No. Only Damien's group went to the industry. Anyway, they had the session with the nurses. That's video no any images of the students. I can't recognize the student list even. 1,800 views. All groups.
Very smart. Okay, okay, now wait. Based on the feedback towards the video, you will be assigned the marks. Based on the commitment that you have made, you will see creation of video. I will assign you the marks. Start. Ashri, completed.
Yeah.
Come and do it on both.
No, yes, that's part,
Ashri, come. Aki. Aki, student know how to. Accrued, accrued, direct wages and others. Accrued wages and others. Accrued balance. Accrued balance divided by the consumption. Consumption under direct wages and divided by 365. Accrued wages and direct payment, the time period that we are going to have is 1.5 weeks. 1.5 weeks. We don't know the accrued balance. How you can capture the consumption? Consumption, wages and other, 19.5 and 10. Right, 19.5 and 10, that means 29.5. So how many units? 50,000 units. Divided by 306, not 365, it should be with 52 weeks. Now tell me accrued balances. Accrued balances for the wages and other. Yes. What is accrued balance?
42,548.
40,
42,548, 0.7.
42,000,
548. 0, sir. The word is sensitive.
Coming under the current liabilities, accrued wages. 42,548. Identify the same for the accrued overhead. It's 1 month. Do the same and calculate the accrued overhead. Do the same for the accrued overhead. Overhead 39, and then we have a non-production overhead. Here we take the both production overhead as well as non-production overhead. Both is 49. Right? 49. $49 multiplied by 50,000. Time period that we are taking to settle the overhead, how much is it?
30.
30.
This
one. 30 days. Accrued overhead, we don't know it. Overhead consumption, 49 multiplied by 50,000 units divided by 365. What's accrued overhead? 201,000. 369.86. That means 70. 370. 201,370. Accrued overhead. 201,370. 49 plus the common. 39 plus the other overhead 10. Okay. Now calculate the working capital requirement. Hassan, calculate the working capital requirement and tell me.
Yes.
Andavela. What did tell me the answer. Working capital requirement. How much is it? 1,299,000.
293 means
29,381.
381.
21. Right? 1,293,821. Is this the answer you all got? Good. Now write it down. Write it down. The working capital requirement. Write it down. The working capital requirement. The working capital requirement. The working capital requirement to produce 50,000 units. The working capital requirement to produce 50,000 units is 1,293,000 1,293,821. 821. Next slide. Next slide. Gross operating cycle equals. Gross operating cycle equals. Gross operating cycle equals inventory conversion period plus. Inventory conversion period plus. Debtor conversion period. Inventory conversion period plus debtor conversion period. Inventory conversion period includes three components. Right? What those three components? RFCP, WIPCP, and then FGCP. How can we identify those figures here? Yes. Raw material conversion period 1 month. So therefore, RFCP 1 month. Then I write it down. RFCP 30 days. RFCP 30 days. WIPCP. How many days? Material in progress. Half of a month. That means 15 days. 30 days plus 15 days. Finished goods conversion period again. How many days? 30 days plus 30 days. Tell me. The inventory conversion period. How many days? 30 plus 15 days. That means 75 days. 75 days. Plus. We have a debtor conversion period. How many days now? 2 months. That means 60 days. 75 plus 60 days. 75 plus 60 days. Now you can identify the gross operating cycle. How many days? 135 days. 135 days gross operating cycle. Next line, cash conversion cycle. Cash conversion cycle. Cash conversion cycle equals. Cash conversion cycle equals gross operating cycle. Gross operating cycle minus. Gross operating cycle minus creditors deferral period. Creditors deferral period. Next line, 135 days. 135 days minus. We have the creditor deferral period, how many days? 30 days. Minus 30 days. Is that all? No, we have the accrued payments as well. So therefore 30 days minus 1.5 weeks means 1.5 weeks means how many days?
9.5.
10 days. Minus 10 days. Minus again. For the overhead we take 30 days. So therefore the minus 135 minus 30 days minus again 30 days minus 10 days. What is the cash conversion period? 65 days. 65 days. Last. Now listen. Companies, they have two types of working capital. They maintain the fixed working capital. Plus, sometimes if there are any deviation in the production, they call the variable working capital. Right? What do you mean by the permanent working capital? A minimum level of current asset which is continuously required by firm to carry on its business operation. So therefore, if a manufacturing business, they maintain some level of current asset. For example, for a 1 month period, they have to maintain 500 current assets. Always they try to maintain that 500 current assets. We call it as a what? Permanent working capital, right? Variable working capital means, for the month of December, month of April. So there might be some deviation in the productions and sales because by Christmas season and then the New Year season. If in this era, what happened? Their sales or the production might be different. So then where their production, if their production is going to be different, what they can do, they need another materials to produce their production unit. So therefore, what they need is they need now variable working capital. So therefore, sometimes the extra working capital, extra current assets needed, we call it as a what? We call it as a, what is it called? Permanent. Permanent. Permanent means the fixed level of current assets. Variable means the extra working capital requirement. Okay. Permanent working capital always constant, but the firms which has a no growth, right? If the firms which has a no growth, their permanent working capital is fixed, like this. But if the month of April, the variable overhead might be increased, and then again for the May, it might be decreased. Again for the August, it might be decreased, and likewise. right? But anyway, the firms which has a growth, right? Which has a growth, growing firms, right? The firms which has a growth, their permanent working capital is not a fixed one. With the time period, with the growth of the firm, their permanent working capital might be increased. And then to in line with that, their fixed the extra working capital might be equal with the permanent working capital. So therefore, a firm which has a low growth, they have the fixed permanent capital, but the firm which has a growing capacity, their permanent working capital might be growing, right? Okay. Determinants of the working capital. Determinants means factors affecting to maintain the working capital component within the organization. What are the factors? Nature of the business, sometimes inflation, sometimes the market demand, technology, credit policy. So these are the sum of qualitative factors which are affecting to determine the working capital requirement within the organization. This is something different and this is something very important to you all. Working capital financing policies, right? Working capital financing means the companies need working capital. To facilitate this working capital financing requirements, companies can use three policies. But those three policies are long-term, short-term, and then the other one, spontaneous financing. What do you mean by long-term? To fulfill the working capital requirement, they can obtain the long-term loans. The other one, to fulfill the working capital requirement, they can go with the short-term financing methods. Right? That's the second method. Short-term loans, short-term leasing, and etc. Spontaneous method. This is something new to you. Spontaneous. What do you mean by the spontaneous? Spontaneous financing. Yes. What is it? Automatic sources of short-term funds arising in the normal courses of business. That means trade credit and outstanding expenses are the example for the spontaneous financing. There is no explicit cost of the spontaneous financing. What we can do, we can claim the, we can delay some payments, right? We can delay some payments, credit payments. Meanwhile, we can collect the cash from the debtors. By collecting the cash from the debtors, we can go with the payment for the creditors. What is it? Spontaneous financing. No any outside involvement. We are not going for the short-term or long-term financing. Within the business cycle, what we are doing, we are tightening our working capital requirement. We collect the cash from the debtors and making the payment for the creditors. Likewise, spontaneous financing, no any involvement of the third parties. With these three financing sources, we can combine these three financing sources and identify the three working capital policies, which are identified as matching and conservative, and then the aggressive approach. First one, what is it? What is the first financing policy? Yes, matching approach, right? You already identified permanent working capital for permanent current assets and then the temporary current assets. If we are in the matching approach, then companies වලට පුළුවන් ඒගොල්ලෝ approach කරන policy එක matching approach එකක් කරලා. Matching approach වෙන්නේ කොහොමද? Yes. Matching approach means their permanent capital entirely permanent current assets will be financed by obtaining a long-term financing. ඒගොල්ලෝ permanent current assets ගන්න කොහොමද? Long-term finance එකක් ගැන අවුරුදු 5ක loan එකක් ගාලා තමයි ඒගොල්ලෝ මොනවද ගන්නෙ? Current asset plus fixed assets ගන්නෙ. Right? If they need extra current assets what they're going to do? They're going to apply the short-term financing method. Right? If they need fixed asset plus if they need permanent current assets, they are going with the long-term financing. Meanwhile, if they need additional requirement current assets, they fulfill that one with the short-term financing method. Right? This is called as the D-match, right? Matching approach. Conservative approach, right? Conservative approach means part of we entirely fulfill the fixed asset with the long-term financing. They can look on a fixed asset. 8 අමතරව ලොකු ණයක් අරගෙන permanent assets උත් ගන්න. ඒකත් අමතරව current assets temporary current assets ගන්න ඕන වුණාම ඒකෙනුත් භාගයක් ගන්න කවුද ගන්නෙ? Long term financing method. Right? The remaining part of the temporary current assets will be fulfilled through the short term financing method. This is a conservative. This is very safe side for the company. But it is not, on the other hand, it is not good for the company. Why? ලොකු ණයක් කරගෙන working capital current assets fill කරගන්නවා කියලා කියන්නේ ඒක safe නැද්ද? We obtain a 5 years loan and we take a current assets and fixed assets. Are we safe or not? We safe. Right? But for the financial perspective, is that good? අපි සාමාන්‍යයෙන් ලොකු ණයක් වගේ අරගෙන ජංගමවත්කම් ගන්නවා කියලා කියන්නේ ඒක හොඳයිද නැද්ද? ඒක හොඳ නෑ කවදාවත්. Why we are issuing shares? Why we are issuing 5 years, 10 years loan? Why we are issuing bonds and corporate bonds and other things? We need to have an investments. That is why by issuing this kind of a long-term financing method, we go with that kind of a project. But in this approach, what happened? We issue the bonds and take the current assets. Is that good? Not, it is not good, but we are safe. Right? In the matching approach means we balance it. Right? If we need the temporary current assets, we go with the short-term financing. Unless otherwise, we are going with the long-term. If we need the current assets, we go with the short-term. But if we need the fixed assets and other things, we obtain a long-term financing. Okay. The last one, it's accuracy. The other reciprocal way of the conservative approach. Part of the permanent current assets will be acquired through the long-term financing. Right? And then part of the permanent current asset plus entirely temporary assets will be acquired through the short-term financing. Are we safe now? As a company, are we safe? Safe or not? No, we are not safe. Why? Why? Half of our permanent current assets also acquired through the short term. Short term means overdraft. Then by obtaining overdraft, we are going to have the permanent current assets. That's not entirely safe for the company, but we are utilizing the funds effectively. Right? So therefore, this is company's decision whether we are going with the conservative approach, aggressive approach, or else the matching approach. That is up to the company's decision whether what sort of policy that they are going to select. Okay. So these are the sum of advantages and then the factors you need to consider when you are obtaining the short term as well as the long term financing. You can read that part. Okay. Any questions on the working capital management?
Can I show this part again?
Which part?
Yeah, this part. Thank you. But
Our design one.
I like most this part.
Not have any question on the attendance marking. Hello?
Hello, Miss. Hello, Miss. Hello, Miss. So when is the question that quicks for the absent students? The MCQ quiz? Sorry, I cannot hear. Sorry, I cannot. I can hear other sound, but
Can you please share the details of the
miss, because of the other's voice, I cannot hear.
Yes. Yes. Hey Shani. Oh hey Shani. Yes, hey Shani.
Yes, Miss. Hey, Shani.
Yes. What is the issue?
So, Miss, when is the quiz that's for the absence student? The MCQ quiz?
MCQ quiz for the absent students. Are there any absent students for the quiz? Okay, we'll inform you the coordinators.
Okay. So, I couldn't participate that day, so as I remember, you told to conduct that in the next week. So next week is today, right? That's why I asked.
So how many we have to take the count for that, right? So
Okay, Miss.
right, online student as well as the physical students, we have to have a rough count on the absent students on the quiz
Okay.
for you, right? So then, so I will give a time period. Are you Australian students?
I am in Canada.
Right. You are the one person. You are the person who is contacting me, right?
Yes, Miss.
Okay. So then I will inform the date via the coordinates, right?
Okay, Miss.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, no need to worry. I will anyway arrange the quiz.
Okay,
If
miss.
I'm going to item session, 15 session, I will definitely arrange a quiz for you all, right?
Okay, Miss. Thank you.
Okay.